Do you know somebody that if they suddenly turned into an alien and got picked up by a spaceship, you wouldn't be that surprised?
I think there's multiple people I know. I wouldn't be surprised if half of the people that I know turned out to be aliens, to be honest.
I can think of at least 3 to 4 people that I know in real life that if they turned out to be aliens, I wouldn't be totally shocked. And I can think of a number of celebrities that if they got picked up and turned out to be aliens, I wouldn't be completely shocked either.
I was just reading a story about two guys in the 70s that claimed that they were abducted by aliens and like nobody believed them. But they until their dying day, they claimed they were abducted by aliens and had a thorough exam done to them.
Do you think if you were abducted by aliens, do you think that you would be able to convince anybody?
No.
But have you ever had something happen to you that you couldn't convince anybody actually happened?
Only one time. And I don't even know if I believe myself anymore the older I get, but I could have sworn I saw that sounds crazy even saying it. I don't know, a ghost, an angel, something at some point in my life. Um, you know, and who knows what it could have been? It could have just been somebody walking fast. It could have been just my imagination. I have no idea.
Where did this happen? Details.
No, I mean I was younger. We were walking to her car. We were at a Kmart and we were walking to her car, and you're just a kid. But I remember this like it was so vividly. For some reason, I couldn't stop staring at this man, and I stared at him. He walked by me. I turned around probably 3 seconds later, and it was one of the long grocery aisle lanes, and he was gone, like just gone. He could have darted in between cars, but when you're a young person or whatever, I'm like, oh, did he just disappear? Did he like smile at me? Was that an angel? Blah blah blah. Like I have no idea.
Man,
but I've told that
yeah,
story.
that would be.
I've told that story to several people, and they're like, yeah, you're full of shit. Like, it's probably some homeless guy that passed out and fell in between cars or something, or, so yeah, that's about the only one that I can think of.
Probably your imagination, dude. I think that there's definitely times where there's a couple of things that I have dreamt or have happened in real life, but I'm not sure if it was a dream or if it actually happened.
I mean, I'm all about deja vu and dreams and things like that. I think that's just your memory or your mind projecting kind of, your feelings. And then when they happen in the moment, your mind and your, I don't know, outer self connect. I'm all about it, man. I'm all about deja vu. I get that all the time.
I don't really believe in any kind of supernatural stuff personally, but I do have a firm belief that just because it's happening in your head doesn't mean it's real. Like, that's everything kind of happens in your head if you think about it. Like, everything is going on in your head.
I mean, when you really, this is a deeper conversation than you and I could ever possibly have. But when you really get down to it, our brains are probably the most powerful thing on the face of the earth. I mean, what your brain can do is incredible.
I've always been fascinated by the idea that you're essentially like your whole body is just a puppet for your brain. Like, it's just this thing in your head controlling everything.
I mean,
like, it's not like you've got, like, it's just moving you around. You're basically just a puppet for your brain.
You ever seen that, the Men in Black movies where it's like the little alien inside of the human's skull, and it's just this little alien that's controlling his entire body? Like, that's what I feel like we have right now.
That's essentially what we are.
All right. Well, something I never mess up are shout outs. So here we go. Jordan Rivera, Sherry Timmons, Brian Coleman, Valerie Delati, Heidi Vance, Christina Neal, Eric Duong, Penny Arneson, Mary Fowler, Mark Macchio, and Zoe Reyes. All right, well, let's talk about some current events topics here. This one is literally fresh off the presses. Noah Lyles, if you're familiar with him, hopefully you are.
Sprinter.
He lost the 200 meter Actually, he came in third place. That's not the reason I bring it up. The reason I bring it up is he's blaming his loss. He was favored to win. He once said that the 200-meter race to him was his wife because he was so dominant in the race. Well, he got a bronze in the 2024 Olympics, so I guess your wife left you for a faster man. It is what it is. Regardless, the reason he lost, he says, is because he has COVID, and he tested positive for COVID, and he still ran with COVID, and that's why he's saying he lost.
Oh, yeah. We have it's crazy to me, looking back on it, how big and how pervasive and how game-changing for everything in society that was, and then it's just over.
Oh,
That's the weirdest thing about life. It's like this thing is the absolute most important thing in the world, and then it's just over.
It's still infecting people. You're still getting sick, but the mindset has changed just a 180.
Yeah, it's completely switched. That's why that's like probably, to me at least, one of the first instances of that I have heard of, and I don't really know how to feel about it. Because on one hand, it's like, hey man, you shouldn't have been competing. Like, what were you doing there? You shouldn't have been there. And then on the other side, it's like, well, we are kind of moving past that, and it does seem like now that's a little bit like the flu, and people wouldn't really bat that much of an eye if he said, like, oh, I have the flu, I'm sick.
Right.
So he's kind of like, I don't know, I probably wouldn't have said that if I was him. I would have kept that particular, like, oh, I wasn't feeling well, because there definitely is still a reaction to, like, wait a minute.
If you're not familiar with him, he is a very adventurous, outspoken, charismatic person.
I guess I do kind of subscribe to the theory that if everybody knows what time it is, then whatever time it is okay. Like, if other people knew it and they were okay with it and that was what everybody was doing, then all right, like, the game is the game.
And then my last thought on this was, if you were one of the 6 people that finished behind him without COVID, you probably should just retire from racing then.
Yeah, like, it's that big but that's crazy to me when you looked at, I don't know if you've seen that 100-meter, but basically, like, you really couldn't tell who won that. How close you have all of these people, the 8 best people in the world, and they're that close to each other. Like, he lost by an eyelash, or won by an eyelash over the other guy.
Well, let's go from COVID to fast food. Have you had fast food lately?
No. I've never been a big fast food eater.
I took my kids to McDonald's the other night because it was a long night. It was like 9:30. We've been working out in the yard all day doing stuff. For 2 Happy Meals and a Big Mac, just the sandwich, it was $16.
This is going to get me fired up. Because it is, like, we are potentially now looking at the possibility of a recession, because all of these companies raised all of their prices with really no reason. I think this is my dime store theory. I think that when COVID hit, we were no longer having to commute to work. We were saving money because there wasn't a lot of money to be spending on, and the government was helping out. Like, people had more money. And so all these companies raised all of their prices. Well, now we're going back to work. And now we're doing all of those things, and we can't afford those prices anymore. And now all those companies are whining about it, like, well, people aren't shopping, people aren't buying this. Yeah, because you made everything unaffordable. So essentially, greed just, like, crashes the whole system. Like, if you just would have been happy with $5 million a year instead of $6 million, all of us would be fine. Like, we never learn this economic lesson that greed just crushes us every single time because somebody's got to go too far. Like, they never have an idea of when enough is enough.
Well, and that's the thing is, luckily, I am in the position where I can afford that, but there are many people who can't. And it just got me thinking, and I know it's a tale as old as time, but it's like, how do these companies stay afloat, by raising the prices for a product that probably only costs, a Big Mac is probably what, $2, and they sell it for $5.99, making a $4 profit. I mean, come on.
Because everything is just geared towards the investor, right? Like, a company has to show endless growth or the investors aren't happy about it. And that's all we do. Like, making a ton of money isn't good enough. You have to make money for the stock market. And if you don't do that, it doesn't matter. And we just screw ourselves over time and time again. Like, we do not learn our lesson.
All right, well, back to the Olympics. I saw a couple of a guy and a gal fall during the hurdles competition, and that looks pretty brutal. And I don't really have any other questions other than I don't think I could ever do a hurdle. I will never try to do a hurdle, but I also think falling or tripping while doing a hurdle would be one of the more painful things that can happen to you.
I have unique insight into this, and that I don't know if you know this or not, but you are talking to a person who at one time was the third fastest hurdler in the state of Kansas. I was at the state track meet. I got third in the 110-meter hurdles. I have no idea what time it was. It was one of those kind of things that's like true but not accurate. Like, you can make that claim, but if somebody really, like, it's total bull BS when you get right down to it. But it doesn't hurt that bad. I mean, it's just like falling down running. It's not like the hurdle really makes it that much worse. It just makes it more complicated.
But I just feel like the thought of jumping and then getting caught in the air and just stopping immediately and fall. I mean, tracks, some of them are cushioned, right? Or have like that layer of rubber or whatever on top.
I wouldn't say that they're cushioned, but there's a certain amount of give.
Yeah, like that. I just feel like the instant stopping and bam, and then one guy I watched, it was a steeplechase, and then he's like shielding in the fetal position, hoping that he doesn't get stepped on. Like, it just looks brutal.
The steeplechase is an event that deserves more credit. That's a fun race to watch, and something like that hurdle isn't like the other hurdles, like in the 110 or the 400-meter hurdles. Like, that thing's not going anywhere. You hit the smaller hurdles, that thing's going to knock down. It's probably not going to be that bad. But you hit that thing, and it's more like hitting a road barrier. Like, oh, you're going down, and you're probably going to get hurt.
Let's see. Moving on here, because we're taking up enough time. Thought this was interesting. Cate Blanchett was on one of the late-night talk shows, and she was asked a question which opens to this. Basically, what movie had you made the most money for that you've been in? And the talk show host said, it has to be Lord of the Rings. And she laughed and said, they didn't pay any of us anything for Lord of the Rings. So I don't know if she just has a bad agent or if that actually happened. Because I think Orlando Bloom got paid. I think Viggo Mortensen got paid. I'm surprised that Cate Blanchett would come out, and she's defending it, saying that she has made nothing from the Lord of the Rings movie series.
I feel like that, like, I get that, right? She didn't have a huge part in that. Not a huge part in that. Like, if you look at her screen time, I doubt it's very long compared to anybody else. So even though she's a big name and that's a really famous movie, like, yeah, you didn't do, like, I know nothing about this, but I would assume that that's the kind of thing, like, she probably shot that in a day or two. Like, I don't think it took that long. But
I mean, then that's on her, right? That's on her agent I mean, why are you having your client work for free, right? I mean, come on now.
I never know how to handle those kind of things. And like, it goes back to the thing is everybody knows what the game is, then you can't complain about the game. Like, okay, it's not this, it's not that, but you were a star and you had some pull. You could have said no. But at the same time, they could have just gotten somebody else. Those are like hard lines to walk, right? Like, kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Because say you pass it up and then it goes to somebody else and they are, you know, like, we know Cate Blanchett was in Lord of the Rings. Like, she got the name recognition before and after that movie. But if she didn't have it, you know, who knows what would have happened. Sometimes
you got to take a step backward, take a couple steps forward. But I think that that's sometimes, like, right, like, that's the opposite of what we're talking about with the stock market, where, like, sometimes, you know, it's not everything has to be about money.
We are in a materialistic world, that is for sure, where people seem to value possessions and the green stuff just over each other.
Yeah. We're competitive. We're not all in this together, even though we should be. Like, we could have, everything would be so much easier in society if we all just worked together. But, like, that's just not how we do it.
That needs to be the
tagline.
There's plenty for all of us of this episode. We can all be successful if we work together.
But that's the crazy thing about it. I wonder how this is going to play out as we move forward in life. Is that we now are at a point where we kind of have enough resources for everybody. Maybe not water because we're running out of that. But like we could all live a pretty good life if we wanted to. But somebody's always got to take more than their share.
Absolutely.
It's crazy to me how easily one person can ruin things for everybody. Okay, are you ready for our top 5?
I am.
You have more?
No, I am ready. I'm just surprised because I thought you had questioned if there was enough of these, and there are plenty. So let's do it.
Okay, so our top 5 is top 5 celebrities you wonder what happened to. Like, what happened to them? Who's your number 5?
So once again, there are so many. So I try to stay away from the childhood actors. There are a couple in here, but I tried not to include all child because you could just do childhood actors that you wonder where they went to. So, my number 5, and this might be a little high for him, but I was never a fan. Regardless, Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Oh, I don't remember which kid from Home Improvement he was, but they all disappeared.
He was Randy, the middle child, I believe.
Oh, he was the one that seemed like he had the brightest future of the 3.
Yeah, and he did some Disney stuff after that, but then he just... And by the way, I didn't look up anybody, so I can't tell you actually what they're doing now. Hopefully all of these people are alive. But regardless, I have no idea what Jonathan Taylor Thomas is doing now.
I don't know what this guy's name is, but it's the main character from Starship Troopers. Casper Van Dien, maybe.
Yeah, Casper Van Dien.
Like, what happened? Like, he seemed like he had a bright career. Like, he seemed like he had the look. And then just nothing. I don't know. Was he ever in another movie other than that one?
Yeah, I actually am a big CVD fan. And unfortunately...
First of all, if you're do you have his collectibles? Do you have a celebrity fucking trading card of him?
I have a Starship Troopers action figure of him, actually.
So what happened to him? Fanboy?
He was part of that mid-90s action, on the tail end of all the true action heroes, the guys that would do their own stunts and blah, blah, blah. And he kind of just fizzled out. He never hooked on to, when Marvel and DC were coming up, he never got an opportunity there. And he just kind of did B movies. And you see him every now and again in a B or C movie. But yeah, he will never have, he will always be known as that guy. Who's that guy from Starship Troopers? Like, that's all he'll ever be known as.
Everybody knows he's the guy from Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to have that level of kind of... There's lots of celebrities that you don't really know who they are, but who have had longer careers. It's interesting how things don't work. They just didn't work out for some people.
Yeah, but most of them made some money, and then it's like, what happened to them after they made the money?
Yeah, if I made a whole bunch of money, I would just disappear.
Like my number 4, who is Frankie Muniz.
Oh, Malcolm in the Middle guy.
So I know what he's doing now just because I'm a fan of racing, but I would expect nobody else to know. But he's actually trying to be a professional race car driver. But for I don't know how old he was when he got done with Malcolm in the Middle, but from that time of him being a pubescent boy to being a mid-20s man, I have no idea what he did. I have no idea.
Would you say that he is on the level of like Ralph Macchio, the guy from Karate Kid, who was somebody that was super famous at that age and then never translated as they grew up? Like they didn't keep it with it.
So I don't actually know how popular, I know how popular Malcolm in the Middle was, but I don't know if you can put it on that level with like the Karate Kid in terms of cult fandom.
Oh, probably not.
But, he's definitely, Frankie Muniz is definitely in that conversation. But no, I would not say he's with Ralph Macchio.
Were you a better looking kid or a better looking adult?
Adult, for sure. I'd fucked up teeth as a kid, wearing the XXX t-shirts as a 9-year-old. I'll take what I look like as an adult.
Yeah,
which still
I'm
isn't
better
great, by the way.
Oh, I have like atopic dermatitis, which goes along with my asthma and my lack of sense of smell, right? Like, so there's my personality right there. But like, I had some problems as a kid. I would say that I'm much better looking as an adult than I was as a child.
I feel like as an adult, we can control a little more what we look like too. You know what I mean? Like if you want
Yeah,
to lose weight, you can work to lose weight. If you want to gain weight, you can gain weight. If you want to cut your hair, yeah, you have a lot more control over your body than when you're a younger person.
but there is definitely some people that like they were cute kids or cute or like good looking as younger people. We all went to high school with these people that were like, oh, they were good looking in high school, and then like what happened?
Yeah. I'm not going to point anybody out, but I actually think a couple of them listen to this podcast.
Oh, well, you kind of just did insult them. They're gonna know who they are.
Sorry.
Rude.
Anyways, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Emilio Estevez or Estevez.
See,
He just disappeared. He was big. He was in some big movies and then gone.
yeah, I mean, you want to talk about like sibling rivalries. I mean, I'll never understand how Charlie got so much more career opportunities than Emilio based just upon what I know about both of them.
But was one a better actor or was one just more in the news? Because Charlie Sheen obviously was more kind of like the gossipy, whatever you want to call it. But I don't
Yeah.
know.
I feel like Emilio
Emilio Estevez did play a character more. Charlie Sheen was kind of just Charlie Sheen.
Well, I think Emilio Estevez got into the writing and producing. That's where Charlie Sheen got hooked up with that one show, 2.5 Men, and set his career forever.
I don't have anything else to say about that. What's your number 3?
Boom. My number 3. See, it's tough. So I want to say Taylor Lautner from Twilight, but I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to say Tara Reid.
Oh, she did just completely disappear.
Yeah, she
tried.
She died?
No, she tried. Like, she's not somebody that disappeared, I think, because they wanted to. I think things just didn't work out.
Well, and she was, for our generation, men our age now, she was a heartthrob, right? She was in The American Pie. She was in a couple other of those teen movies. She was a girl that all of us young boys, thought about. And then she did a couple of horror movies. I think she was hooked up with Freddie Prinze Jr. I don't actually know if that's true. And then you hear nothing else from her.
Yeah, I just didn't think it worked out.
Same.
That's
I
tough,
kind of put
man.
her. I kind of put her in like the Nev Campbell type group. And Nev Campbell had a pretty successful career, but like after 2007, you didn't really hear from her till lately.
You could say that. I'm going to mess up their names because I'm not entirely sure of them, but you could say that about a lot of those kind of people in that age. Like there was Nev Campbell, Tara Reid, and then the singer from Aerosmith's daughter. And they all were kind of known and then just gone.
Liv Tyler. Yep.
Right. And then just disappeared. Like, well, they don't think they did anything again.
Just gone, man.
Was that your number 3?
That was my number 3. Now it's your number 3.
I kind of know where this person is, but I just wonder, like, what happened to them? Carrot Top. Like, what happened and what happened? Right? Like, what happened and what happened?
I mean, that dude got hooked on steroids and thought he was going to have a career resurgence, I feel, and never did.
He was jacked, though.
Yeah, he was. But, I mean, it didn't look natural, right? It didn't look anything close to natural.
Something was going on. I'm not going to name names because I don't think that you should really talk about people's appearance that much, although I just did talk about Carrot Top's appearance. But, like, there's another celebrity right now who is very famous who's kind of going through that. And you're like, what are you doing? Like, they suddenly start looking a lot different. Like, what are you doing?
Okay. All right. I'm not picking up what you're putting down, but we won't put them out there. My number 2 is a twofer. We're staying in the females, or with females, and it's a Eliza Dushku and Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Oh, I don't know which one the first one is.
Well, I can tell you. I think once again, every boy our age except you had a crush on her. See if I can bring her up
Elijah
real fast.
Dushku. How do you
Yeah, she
spell?
was
That's one of
in.
those names, like Eliza, E-L,
She was in
Eliza
Buffy, I think. She did some
Dush.
really shitty horror movies. Let's see. There she is.
She's Albanian. Oh yeah. Okay, I don't remember her.
Well, some of us do. So that's my number 2, Jennifer Love Hewitt, who I think became pretty successful as a business, as an entrepreneur after acting, and then obviously Eliza Dushku.
My number 2 is Rick Moranis.
See, I saw him on a list, and I was like, I think he's still. I mean, yes, he disappeared from acting, but I think behind the scenes and in acting, he still did all kinds of stuff.
He left to take care of his children, essentially. Like his wife unexpectedly passed away and he left. But that was like he just kind of was boom.
Yeah,
Gone.
just
And
gone,
he was
right?
like people liked him a lot. Nobody's got a bad thing to say about Rick Moranis.
No, not at all. And he's kind of a small man, isn't he?
Yeah, but apparently okay. Now you have to
Uh-oh.
hear story time. So I used to work as a reporter and I was working in Phoenix, Arizona when they had the Super Bowl. And when they have the Super Bowl, there's like the parade of celebrities, they all come in. Every single female celebrity that I saw was way taller and thinner than you would think. And every single male celebrity, and talking about like movies and TV stars, was way smaller than you would think. So I'm 5'8 3/4" as measured by USAA Life Insurance. Shout out to USAA Life Insurance. And there were people that were supposedly like 5'7", 5'8", and I towered over them. Like if a celebrity says that they're 5'7" or 5'8", that means they're like 5'3".
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and if an actress looks skinny on film, she's going to be even skinnier in person.
They were way taller. Way
Yeah, man,
taller and thinner than I thought that they would be.
So my number 1, I feel like I have to say this. My number 1 would have been Brendan Fraser, but obviously he had the whale movie.
Oh, yeah,
What was
he
it,
had to come back.
last year or whatever, and kind of research his career. So, um, my number 1, which I think is going to be controversial, is Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, yeah.
Because
But
he
he didn't go.
Go ahead.
He didn't go Chevy Chase crazy, though, right? Like, Chevy Chase kind of disappeared, but it turns out he was pretty much like a huge jerk and everybody hated him. Dan Aykroyd just disappeared.
Yeah, I actually looked up to see what he did. So he's had some cameos, right, in the recent Ghostbusters, but he hasn't had like a feature length movie role since the mid '90s. And he just took his money and he retired to Canada, and he's been he raised his family, but he raised his family, and now he just lives in Canada. You know, I mean, arguably he was part of some of the biggest franchises ever in history, and then
Yeah.
just stopped, just ended it.
I think that's really honestly one of the most important things you can learn in life is when enough is enough.
It's I actually learned that gambling, believe it or not, and I know that's kind of stupid to
Well, that's exactly how you learn it. Like when you
to
lose
prove
all
that.
your money, you're like, oh, that's probably enough.
I'm like, I could win $5, and if I lose $1 in the next 10, I'm done. I'm like, yep, I'll take my $4 winnings because I know if I keep going, I'm gonna have zero.
Like, I think this is a little bit of a cop out, but I also consider this to be my number one. My number one is any celebrity that has gone super left or right wing all of a sudden, or gone like hardcore anti-vaxxers. Like, I just wonder what happened to, like, what happened? Like, how did you suddenly have these beliefs or suddenly go in this direction? Were you always that way, or did something change? Like, I just wonder what happened to those people that, like, whoa, you went off the deep end quick.
Well, I mean, I feel like most of those people that do that are celebrities who probably always felt that way, and when they see an outlet or somebody that they think they can latch on to or whatever, they do it.
To me,
It's
that seems like you're burning the candle at both ends. Like,
sure.
why did you decide that that would be a good idea? To just, were you always like that, or did you become like that? That's what I wonder about. Do you have anybody in your honorable mention?
I do. Pauly Shore.
Oh yeah, he disappeared.
Jamie Lynn Spears, Britney's sister. Where did she go? Nobody knows.
I don't think anybody cares either, to be honest with you.
Taylor Lautner, who I kind of mentioned earlier. And then 2 childhood actors, Danny from The Shining, Jack Nicholson's son, and Jake Lloyd, Anakin Skywalker from Phantom of the Menace.
Oh, he disappeared. And you know who else disappeared is Joffrey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was gone. He was good.
Yeah,
he was like a good actor.
He's a Gleason, though. He's going to have no problem ever getting acting roles.
Oh, is that who he's related to?
Yeah, I think his great-grandfather or grandfather was Jackie Gleason.